Most people overcomplicate the investing path towards financial freedom and end up doing all the wrong things, creating financial burden and stress, and end up losing out a decade worth of golden opportunity. What do you really want? What people really want is to achieve financial freedom as early as possible. And you can really do that. It's a simple path if you really apply and understand this key concept. Elon Musk, Jensen Huang all attribute their success greatly to this key concept. And in Elon Musk's words, it's like take something and boil it down to the core fundamental level or at an atomic level, so that's a final truth. There is nothing beyond that. Now, what is this? It is the first principles thinking. It's a very strong concept that harkens back to ancient Greek philosophy. And first principles thinking really helps us in all walks of life. Let's see in this video how we can apply the first principles thinking towards achieving financial freedom. Now, here is a very interesting fact you need to understand if you are in the path of financial freedom, right? So the core concept, ultimate truth that cannot be denied, applying first principles thinking to the power of compounding, is that 75% of your wealth gets created in the last 30% of time. No matter what capital you put there, no matter how much percentage of CAGR returns you make, the last 30% of time you need to wait out to get that 75% of returns. Let's see this example. You see on the screen, you start with say initial capital of $50,000, compound it for 20% CAGR, right? Compounded annual growth rate. At the end of 4 years, you have $100,000, so you doubled. At the end of 8 years, you doubled again. That's like 200K. And then at the end of 12 years, it's 400K. 16 years, it's 800K. So all you achieved by waiting out 16 years, starting with $50,000 capital, you could only reach 800K at the end of 16 years. But look at this. The $1.6 million is achieved in the next 4 years. That is, 20th year, you have $1.6 million. Now, your target, suppose, is $3 million for financial freedom. The $1.6 million gets created in the last 4 years. So what took you 20 years to create the first $1.6 million, it took you 4 years to create the next 1.6. This is the compounding concept, right? And so that's 50% of wealth gets created in the last 5% of the time. And 75% of the wealth gets created during the last 30% of the time, which means the last 8 years. Now you need to reason up from there. Suppose I don't want to achieve financial freedom at the age of 50. Rather, I want to do it at 40 and then get into do what my love is or my passion is. I want to shave off 8 years or 10 years of that waiting period. How do I do that? How do I expedite the path towards financial freedom? Well, there are many ways, right? One way is to expedite by increasing your initial capital. Instead of starting with 50K, rather might as well start with $100,000 so that it can save me 4 years of that waiting period, right? Instead of 24 years it might take 20 years. Suppose start with say $200,000, it might take 16 years. So I can shave off 8 years of that waiting period of my peak life to achieve financial freedom faster. Or you could increase your compounded annual growth rate. Instead of 20%, you can achieve 25% by concentrating more, or different ways to do it. I'm not going to get into that, but reason up from that fundamental core ultimate truth, and then you find your way and the solution to reach financial freedom. Now you can apply first principles thinking to another concept which is very important to understand if in the wealth creation processes. The most common question I got when I quit my job and ventured into my passion, which is investing, is like, how do you survive? What is your source of income? Now, applying the same first principles, we all know we need a strong cash flow, steady cash flow, month on month or yearly to survive our family and for the rest of our life. We need a cash flow, which is the ultimate truth. Now, most people assume that it is the income that creates the cash flow. We definitely need income. But there is a most important concept that people don't get. It is when your wealth becomes much greater than your income source, which means when you can utilize your wealth or leverage your wealth up to get the cash flow, what is required to survive you for the rest of your life. That's one way to do it. It's not just the income. You could invest in such a way that you get some cash flow through dividends, many other ways, right? I don't want to get into that, but again, the thinking needs to change, the mindset needs to change. It's just not that income source that can survive you. You can utilize your wealth when you create the previous figure I showed you, something on those ranges, and then utilize that wealth to create the cash flows so that you can still follow your passion and achieve financial freedom. So this is the first principles thinking, which if you can apply, you can find out solutions to many walks of life, not just financial life. Just wanted to bring this up. Trust this was helpful. Signing off, Sandeep Anand.